Yeah, so I want to do a review on this game right here. It's Neverwinter Nights 2, Storm of Zahir, I think. And I'm just going to do a new campaign just to show this one thing. There's 3 different campaigns that came with the package, and you could get it from Steam. I forget when they do like their sale, but you could get it for pretty cheap, I think. Anyway, what I liked about this game is that it's different from a lot of RPGs. I mean, there's very few that have this type of depth to the game. For example, they give you a bunch of choices. There's dwarves, elves, and actually, let me go male and female. See? Elves, male, female, gnome, male, female, and so on and so forth. I'll just keep showing you what they look like. And this is an old game. I mean, that's why the graphics look the way they do. But, I mean, you're not going to find that many games with this much depth with these type of graphics. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, well, what about Skyrim? And what about... No. Not even close. Like, I'll show you why in a second. And all these have stats. But, just for the sake of this thing, I'll just go human just to show you. And you could get a close-up of their face, too. Stuff like that. For people that are new to this type of genre, I recommend you go with recommend. Because it's actually difficult. And you could go and change your height for each class, your girth. See? So, big boy. And there's a head selection. I'm going to zoom in. And every race has this, too. So you can change the way the face looks. The head, I guess. And there's also hair selection. Well, let's get a face in there. There, that looks kind of weird. Hair selection. See, there's a bunch of hair, and you could actually like tilt the character around, see the hair from all around. See, hey, that looks pretty funny. All right, well. So yeah, this will be the guy, right? And skin color. You know, you can make all the different skin colors. See? And each different type of race or whatever has different, what's it called? They have different skin tones, they have different eye colors, and stuff like that. And there's different eyebrow colors, and different hair colors. And you can give the hairs highlights. And hair accessories, like let's say they have a ponytail, they could have like a little red headband or whatever. I mean rubber band holding their hair. You go over to next, and there's a ton of these right here, these classes, I guess. There's barbarian, there's bard, cleric, and all of them have their own little things here, like a backstory of what they do, what they're good for. See? And, I mean, for anybody who's not into hardcore RPGs, don't even play this, because you're going to hate it. It's going to be, like, super difficult, and you're going to hate it. But, if you're a fan of, like, RPGs in general, like, if you play Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior or any of those, the old school ones, though, you're probably going to be able to hang on this game. You just got to be careful, and, like, for example, they have one of the classes from Final Fantasy, which is Fighter, and they also have Monk, which is also from Final Fantasy games. On that one they call them Black Belt though. And you could actually make parties from other RPGs because these actually have the base rules for the Dungeons and Dragons games. So all the classes are like the way they're supposed to be, where all these other games kind of copy this right here, see? And they have Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Spirit Shaman, which at that point it starts getting a little more into like some of that lore you'll see like in Warcraft 3 or stuff like that. Swashbuckler, Warlock, Wizard, and there's actually differences between Warlocks and Wizards. And it starts getting a little crazy right here, where there's like way more classes. There's Arcane Archer, Arcane Scholar of Candlekeep. You know, I'm not even gonna get into all these, but they're there, you know, and they're all like special. Assassins. I mean, some of you guys might recognize this from like Assassin's Creed right there. Blackguard, Divine Champion, Doom Guide, Duelist, Dwarven Defender, and yeah. Here, let me go down the list. So yeah, if you like RPGs and stuff, this one's pretty cool. There's Eldritch Knights, Frenzied Berserker, Harper Agent, Hellfire Warlock, Invisible Blade, The Neverwinter 9, Pale Master, Red Dragon Disciple, Red Wizard, Sacred Fist, Shadow Thief of the Am, Shadow Dancer, Stormlord, and Shadow Dancer is actually kind of like Shadow Dancer for the Genesis. Yeah, Stormlord, War Priest, and Weapon Master. So that's all the classes that they have on here. And some of these are like prestige classes. So I'll just go ahead and see what they recommend. They recommend Fighter, but just for the sake of this, let's switch it up and do something weird. Maybe a Spirit Shaman, or how about oh, that's a prestige class. I guess this is where the prestige classes start. Yeah, Spirit Shaman's pretty weird. Okay, so next. And this is another interesting aspect that they've gotten rid of in a lot of games, and I was hoping they would have brought it back for the Elder Scrolls Online, because they have this aspect in the Morrowind game, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. I know they have it in Torment and a bunch of old RPGs, but like what was it, Baldur's Gate and all those, they have this. But basically, there's lawful good, and you could read that there if you're interested. Neutral good, I'll leave it so you can read it. Chaotic good, and of course, you know, you could use pause to read all the stuff. Lawful neutral, neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, and chaotic evil. And as you play the game more and more, the choices you make within the game make you I'm gonna make them a chaotic neutral. The choices you make, actually I'll just make them neutral. The choices you make in the game affect your standing. So let's say you start doing stuff like, let's say somebody says, hey, thank you for saving me from those thugs or whatever, and we say, oh, well, that'll only cost you 15 gold pieces, please, or something like that, you know. At that point, you're kind of neutral, or even kind of a bit of a chaotic neutral, because you're like asking for the cash. But if you're like, oh, don't even worry about it, you know what I mean? Like, I did it for you because you're cool and this and that, or just be good or whatever. They'll put points towards you being good. And like, let's say you go and you steal something or whatever, because you could do all that, so on and so forth. Let's see. So these are deities, which are like gods that your what's it called, your character can use. Let's see. These I don't even get into that much, but they're all there. And depending on your alignment, whether you're neutral or good or evil or whatever, you know, you could pick whichever one. So I'll just go with the first one. And their favorite weapon is a flail for this type. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Like, each class has a bunch of different stats on here. Actually, no, they don't. They have all these same stats, all the classes, but different classes are better at different, or no, they actually use different stats to benefit them. For example, I'm just going to go ahead and hit recommended. Now for this one, wisdom and charisma is like important, and dexterity and constitution over strength and intelligence. And now I'll show you why that mattered in a second, but this is still part of the character creation. Now if you look over here on the side where it says info, it'll show you how all of this stuff here matters. You could have no background and it won't matter, but you can make yourself a bully, and then you'll have more strength and you'll be good at intimidating and have fortitude, but you'll be less good at bluffing and you'll be less good at diplomacy, or not as good. And you could be devout, which has, you know, you'll have strong faith and all this stuff that it says here. But it also says you can be stubborn and hot-headed in conversations. So like, let's say you're, like what I like to do when I play RPGs, I'll like make characters and be like, oh, okay, I want to make like myself and some of my friends and give them like attributes of what they're like in real life, you know? Like, and you could actually do that because they actually have all these different types of people that you can make your characters like. And I like that a lot. See, they have ladies man right here. They have natural leader, tale teller, see? Good at bluffing, good at lore, stuff like that. And there's some stuff you might not even ever use in the game. Like, what about if I don't want to use alchemy? What about if I don't want to... It's all there, but you don't have to use it. See? Confidant, foreigner, veteran. I'll make them a foreigner. And that matters too when you're trying to talk to people and this and that. Like, when you're a foreigner, they'll be like, this guy, you know, I don't know if I should talk to him or whatever. Anyway, finally, you get over to this, where there's different types of shamans. There's default spirit shaman, which is this one. The generic spirit shaman is a balanced spellcaster who supports their party with both healing and damaging combat spells. The package does not give any special abilities to your character. It simply configures your skill and feats so that you don't have to. And there's different ones. See, there's Elementalist, and controls elements and stuff like that. There's Spirit Summoners. Spirit Shaman Summoner, which, you know, he'll summon like creatures, nefarious creatures to be exact. And then Focus Sentinel, that's a different kind. And Eidolon Champion. And if anybody has played like Final Fantasy, the later games, they have Eidolon, so you know what that is. And then there's Stormlord. And if you don't want any of these, you can go to Customize and actually make your character however you want using all of these. Now, this right here matters because if you look, watch, for example, Appraise, you need the ability of Intelligence in order to use it. And you remember the stats that we were looking at? So now you gotta look at this and say, like, well, what exactly do I want to use? Because was my character intelligent? Let's find out. So, you know, I have to go back. And, oh, no, he wasn't that intelligent. Wisdom and Charisma were his strong points. So now I go forward again and customize. So now I gotta look at all these and be like, okay, Charisma. This ability requires Charisma. Bluffing. So I could make him be good at bluffing. And then I look for something with Wisdom. See, and that's where it starts. Oh, heal. So he needs Wisdom for healing. And then Dexterity. But there's some characters that don't have certain attributes on their powers. For example, for this I'm just going to hit Recommendo and hit Next. And you get to this final part where these are his skills. He has Armor Proficiency and Light Armor, Shield Proficiency, Weapon Proficiency. And you have to actually read all this stuff because it tells you. It'll be like, this feat allows a character to use club, dagger, dart, hand axe, spear, quarterstaff, sling, short bow, throwing axe, and light crossbow. So, you know, there's a lot of weapons in this game. There's like katanas and all kinds of crazy stuff, like flails and all kinds of stuff. Throwing axes. Oh wait, that's already there. But yeah. So you gotta be careful in what you pick here to make your character, you know, the way you want them. But the beauty of this game is that you can actually make your character however you want, even if it doesn't make sense. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So anyway, yeah, right here I would put like whatever I want him to have. And there's dash, improved initiative, you know, all this other stuff that you could see for yourself. See? Spells, meta magics, all kinds of stuff. The list just keeps going and going. See? Fiendish heritage, Fey heritage. There's a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel now. And I'm going to hit select character. And let's see who I have here. Actually, no, I'm not even going to hit that. I'm going to go backwards and I'm going to go to load game. I'm going to go to Rick's. Now again, if you don't like, you know, complicated games or whatever, don't even mess with this because you're just going to get pissed. Like, this is one of those games that, you know, you could basically make whatever character you want on there, but you're going to have a hard time if you make a character that doesn't make sense. And I actually enjoy making characters that don't make sense. Like, for example, I made this guy right here. This little dude. Not the dwarf, but that little guy right here. And what he is, let me show you. This is a character right here. His name is Little Palm Ballbuster. And he's got a bunch of dexterity, and he's got some wisdom. And he's got, you know, some strength, and he's a monk, but he's a little tiny monk. He's which usually people don't do this because he's a rock gnome, and they're used to be like bards and stuff like that, and like wizards. And I made him a monk, and he's a lawful good monk. And he attacks with his bare hands, but he's little, so it's kind of hard to do. So what I ended up having to do with this guy is, these are his skills here. He has high concentration. He can heal. He can hide. He can listen very well. He can move silently. And he can parry very well. And he can tumble really well. And he could spot and survive very well. So he's kind of like a tiny little Yoda that's jumping around, kicking butt really fast, dodging a lot. And that worked. You know, it actually worked out. Because a lot of people, they'll try to make like their little fighters or little guys that could use giant axes and stuff. And if you're going to do something like that, you might want to go with one of these guys, which is like a dwarf, rather than a gnome. But, you know, I wanted to try something different from my average builds and stuff. So I made this little monk gnome guy. And he's been working out pretty good so far, but it's still super early game. But I had the choice to do that, you know what I mean? So that's what I like about this game. They give you a lot of choices. And as you can see, here's... What should I show you? The HUD, I guess. There's the minimap. There's the characters that are on your team. What I don't like is kind of like the camera, the way you work the camera in this game is kind of weird. Like, you can move the mouse to the left and it'll move the camera left. You can move to the right, it'll move right. You could use your middle mouse button and pinch and kind of go back and forth, or you could roll in and out, and that gets kind of confusing. But not only that, but you could use WASD to move around. See? So there's that. It's got the grid down here, like your hotkey buttons. You actually have a whole list. You can go from 1 all the way to 10 of different hotkeys. So yeah, you have a ton of moves you could put on there. Exploration mode, strategy mode, character mode. I haven't even used those yet, to tell you the truth, so I don't even know what they do. But I know the player menu's right there, and then rest is right after that. It's right here. And then party AI is on or off right there. So you could actually control your party like however you want. And if you have friends that play this game, you could actually play multiplayer online and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that'll conclude this video. And I'll do another one later where I'm actually doing stuff. Alright, so thanks for watching.